It's the G to the U to the R to the U. Let me talk about the Baltimore Ravens, bro. How about that? Because they always running the football. That's what they do. They talk about football. You know what I'm saying? Dying in football. The Ravens live and die with the running game, with the running the football, dog. So the Ravens obviously led by John Harbaugh, the longtime head coach. Seemed like he's been there since, I don't know, forever. The Ravens, I think what he's like their second. I think the Ravens only had like two head coach, like Brian Billick and John Harbaugh. Yeah, man. Shit. John Harbaugh is Mr. Ravens, right? So let's go to the key departures. The thing about the Ravens, they always lose guys, but they're such a great developmental organization. So it's like they always find replacement. They lost. I remember last year was like a couple years ago was Darius Smith, and now all of a sudden Matthew Judon stepped up. Now Matthew Judon is one of those guys they didn't resign, so he's one of those key departures. Mark Ingram, y'all, I love me some Mark Ingram, man. You know what I mean? Big trust. Nah, big trust his big ass out of there, man. So Mark Ingram is another guy that they got rid of, man. They got rid of Willie Snead. Actually, I was a Willie Snead fan, man. There was something about Willie Snead. It seemed like every time I watched the Baltimore Ravens play, Willie Snead always makes some type of a drive converting first down or something, man. He's just a clutch. One of those guys. He's a chain mover, a chain reaction guy, man. A first down mover. And also, they also lost Yannick Ngakoue. Obviously, Yannick he just came there for like what, for 5-6 games basically. He came there for half the season. So, but the thing is, that was the entire Ravens pass rush right there. They're blitz heavy team. So with Yannick and Matthew Judon, that was how they generated pressure. Without those guys, now they got to find other ways of generating pressures. But the thing about the Baltimore Ravens, like I said, it's like the Pittsburgh Steelers with wide receivers. It's like the Green Bay Packers with offensive line, man. You know what I mean? It's like there's certain organizations that just know what the hell they do in a certain position. And the Baltimore Ravens, when it comes to the defensive front and defensive line, they know what the hell they're doing. So I anticipate guys already coming in, all the guys that's already going to be developed. So as far as the key rivals, this roster is basically set, man. It's like there's not too many things to do. And historically, the Ravens are not a big free agent type of organization, man. They're a homegrown organization. They draft well. They develop players. So as far as big time acquisition, that's not their DNA. But this year, the two guys they brought in, Kevin Zeither, he's my guy, man. The offensive lineman, obviously right guard. He's gonna go replace Marshall Yonder, who retired. So we're going to see how that goes. And also, they bring in wide receiver Sammy Watkins. To tell you the truth, I think Sammy Watkins he's an average football player. I think he's a jag. He's just a guy. So he's just a name guy anyway. So be frankly with you. But they brought him in just because he's a name guy. Now, let's move on to the draft needs. The Ravens, like I said, the roster is a Super Bowl roster, man. They got everything they need, but they got to strengthen up certain needs. So for me personally, I think they got to attack the edge rusher position. They definitely got to attack the center position because it seemed like every time they hiked the ball or something, somebody was coming through the middle last year when I was watching Baltimore play. And they got to add an extra defensive line, and that's what the Ravens is specialized in as far as defensive line and offensive line. So now moving on to the draft prospect as far as who will fill those needs. The first round pick, I anticipate the Baltimore Ravens do what they do, go with the defensive line. They're probably one of the best defensive draft organization in football, man. I anticipate Jalen Phillips, the defensive standout from the University of Miami, to be the first pick over there for the Baltimore Ravens in round one. Moving on to round two, I definitely like the interior offensive line target here. I like and I love my guy Creed Humphreys from Oklahoma Center. I think that'll be a definitely upgrade because, like I said, you put the film on Baltimore last year. It seems like there was issues as far as the interior offensive line play. Obviously, they have a good tackle play, but the interior offensive line, it was kind of shaky. And adding a center like Creed Humphreys would definitely be a value upgrade at that position. And in the third round, They need beef up front, man. They need beef. They need macho because we already going with Jalen Phillips as far as the edge rusher. So they're going with the D lineman. I expect them to get Jay Tufuli. I can't say his name. Jay Tufuli. Jay Tufuli. You know what I'm saying? My Samoan boy, man. Jay Tufuli, my dog. If I mess your name up, my bad, homie. But I'm sure I ain't the first one, and I sure damn ain't going to be the last one. All right, Jay? So I'm going to call you JT, bringing sexy back, dog. So that's who I see, man, in Baltimore. You know the Baltimore Ravens, they're like them Samoans out there, man. Them island boys out there in Baltimore as far as the interior offensive line and developing pressure and making sure they hold up as far as the run against the run. So the Baltimore organization, it's something about success. Success has a script and have a system. And the Baltimore Ravens are a very successful organization. So they have a plan. They always stick to the plan. And right now it's the same old Baltimore Ravens. They draft well, they develop well, and they play well. And that is not going to change in 2021. So with that said, that concludes our Baltimore Ravens offseason draft needs, and we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the king of the North themselves, offseason and draft need. This is Monday Morning Football with the Guru.